Greetings and welcome to another chilly morning here in Outback Queensland, just outside the town of Thargomindah. Wow, I have been up since a bit before 5 a.m. I just could not sleep anymore. There's so much going through my mind. But what a peaceful night. Like, you will not believe the stars. Unfortunately, this camera is not so good in low light, but man, believe me, the night sky was vibrant. Yeah, since getting to St. George, it's been completely clear skies, like not a cloud in the sky. It's absolutely stunning. Beautiful sunrise. And yeah, I am just, yesterday's split-second decision, literally it was a split-second decision. I was about to start heading back home, but then something in me was just telling me, just keep going west, keep going west, keep going west, one more town, get to Thargomindah. And I did, and we stumbled upon Lake Bindagolli National Park, and now we're here just on the outskirts of Thargomindah. Ooh, whoa, that is a massive road train. That was like 4 carriages. Man, I gotta try and get some good footage of road trains. It's, yeah, really unique phenomenon. Some fire pits here. I would have been tempted to even make a fire almost, but yeah, man, I was so tired yesterday after that hike, especially, like, you know, all this driving plus, you know, going on that hike. It's tiring. It is exhausting, but I had a good sleep overall, despite the fact that I woke up early. I mean, I go to sleep reasonably early out here because, of course, what else is there to really do? There's not that much to do once the sun goes down. Thargomindah, again, it's just a hidden outback oasis. Like, you could see, you would have seen the landscape driving here yesterday. Well, Thargomindah, like, as soon as you get like just on the outskirts of the town, you can walk in there and you're pretty much in woodland, just a hidden outback oasis. There's a small waterway that runs directly adjacent to the town. I'll take you there afterwards. It's a completely still night, like no wind, nothing, like just completely silent. That was another thing that was, when I said I was scared yesterday, man, last night, it's like, yeah, like, just, I'm here, even though, yeah, there's other people reasonably close by. It's like, when you're traveling on your own, there's definitely a different feeling about it. I do feel a bit better about it that there's other people close by, but yeah, it's completely different to anything I've experienced. I've traveled in some far away, remote places now, I can make that claim, but nothing like this. Nothing at all like this. And yeah, then it was completely still, completely silent, and then as the sun came up, yeah, just all you can just hear the birds waking up, and it just gets louder and louder, and just, yeah, I always assumed, or I was always told, and I always assumed that the outback desert regions were just all desolate and lifeless. And let me tell you, that is far from the case. Even though on the surface it might not look like much. I mean, here it's actually looks really nice with this woodland, but believe me, like, driving here where we were and where we stopped by Lake Bindagolli and all that, like, that's a pretty desolate area. But even out there, like, the place was teeming with life. This is far from a lifeless, barren wasteland. No, sir. No, sir. Just on the main street of Thargomindah. Information centre and library up here. Rural Libraries Queensland. Tourist card. 24/7 access to 250,000 books. I stopped here briefly yesterday just to use the bathroom. Thankfully they were all still open. Griffith University. Oh shit. Sorry about that. No. Stay there. And yeah, here's the information center. Pamphlets and all that just there, anyone to take, and a book exchange here for the library. Yeah, public toilets just around here, they're all open, so you can come here and use them even if it's not open. And guest Wi-Fi, yeah, I used this yesterday, just to send a message, guest Wi-Fi, because even within the town here there is no reception, no phone service. So that really shows you just how remote we are. It's pretty crazy. But the town itself, you know, despite the fact that we are this remote now, town itself looks to have quite a bit going. Look, they've got a big water slide in here, pool. I can't see that. Maybe I've got a better tripod now, so maybe I can lift you guys a bit over. Like, everything looks pretty clean and modern just within this small little town. It's not a big town by any means, but interesting. I saw a sign on the drive in here. It said, "Welcome to Thargomindah, home of Australia's first hydroelectric plant." Yeah, hydroelectric plant. I'm like, wow. That was that's a bit unexpected. The fact we drove through this desolate landscape on the way here, and then suddenly this is clearly in some outback oasis. But yeah, apparently they have a hydroelectric plant, so we'll definitely have to go and get some information on that. So you've got the Thargomindah pool here. Wow, that is a big pool. Big pool for a small town. That is deep. That goes down to, you can see, 6 meters. Whoa. It does feel quite strange walking around, there's no one else. It's not that early anymore, it's about 8 AM. But yeah, no one around, very quiet and very peaceful. Nice wide boulevard here. Pelican Point. We might check that out. I'm just walking up and down the main street for now. Like, all these buildings, like everything here looks, I don't know, this looks clean, looks modern. Even the footpath here, like, it's, I don't know, it's a bit different. It's got its own style. Thargomindah Shire Hall. Thargomindah Shire. I'm assuming this used to be called Thargomindah Shire before. Southwest Queensland, right here. That's where we are. Boom. You've got your food works, so yeah, you can still do the groceries here easily within town. I mean, look, if you live in a small country town and I'm pointing out all these things, you might be saying, well, duh. But believe me, there's many people back in the city who just assume that these outback communities are just desolate, they don't have access to anything, and that, like, even where I live on the Southern Downs, like, that's absolutely nothing compared to this in terms of remoteness. Even get questions from people in the city, like, who knew me, you know, growing up and all that. They go, "Oh man, how would it be living so remote, you know, so far from the city?" And I'm like, so far? I live only less than 3 hours from, you know, Brisbane, Gold Coast. It's that's not remote. Like, it's my perspective. When you travel a country like Australia, your perspective, like actually properly travel to remote areas, your perspective on size and distance. Ooh, yeah, fuel pumps. It's not open. Parts hours 8 to 5. Oh, nothing's open. What's the day today? Oh, of course. Yeah, I'm stupid, aren't I? I had no idea. It's a Sunday. It's a Sunday, of course. That's why it's so quiet. That's why nothing's open. That's why it's dead. It's a Sunday, so of course nothing is open. Mate, what is going on? Oh, Oasis Motel. Oh, this is open, okay, because... Alright, this is open. Little motel, you can stay there. Restaurant, reception. Cool. These last few days, I'm so in my own world that I totally forgot what day it was. I had no idea. Today is Sunday, of course. It's a simple thing, like you're just living your day-to-day life. Like, of course, you know what day it is. Man, I totally forgot. I had no idea what day it was. Yep. Oh man. But yeah, getting back to my point, like, yeah, I get, like, your perspective on size and distance will completely change. Like back when I lived in the city, even just driving an hour outside, the city, like, that felt remote. That was like, damn man, I'm really in the middle of nowhere now. But if you ask me that question now, like, absolutely nothing. Where I live now, absolutely nothing. Like, living in the city, like an hour drive outside the city felt like a lot. I mean, when I moved to the Southern Downs, the 2.5 hour drive to get there from the city, that felt like a lot. Now that feels like absolutely nothing. Like a 2 hour drive is just baby steps for me. Today we're gonna have to drive, well, the map said 6 hours, but it's probably gonna be more like 7 or 8 hours. And yeah, it's a sizable drive, but again, it's not that extreme to me. Southwest Hospital and Health Service. Okay, so we've got a small hospital, community clinic. Yeah, caravan park. A few caravans, stuff parked up. I think we did pretty well for ourselves, utilizing that free campsite. And one thing I just calculated this morning. So in total so far, these 3 days, I've spent $220 on this trip, which, considering the cost of accommodation, food, fuel, that's very good. That's very solid, actually. Because yeah, I've barely spent anything on accommodation. I've only paid for, so far on accommodation, I spent a total of $27. That was for the unpowered site at Charlotte Plains, which was definitely worth it because you get access to the bore baths, old hospital, and hydroelectric. Damn, okay, this way. That's this way. Well, I want to go this way as well. Well, there's a police station up there. Which way do I go? Which way do I go? Left or right? Well, we can turn on that road and go up there probably. Anyway, we'll go this way. I want to see what is on this side. Thargomindah Old Jail works for Queensland. Okay, so I've got an old jailhouse. Oh, there's a gate open. Okay, we do go left. We do go left. There's no one around, but it is open. Thargomindah Old Jailhouse. Hello? Am I trespassing? Is anyone here? Am I gonna get locked up? Oh shit. Oh boy, I thought someone was just in there. Oh, what is that? Oh my. Oh my. Oh. Door, key, exit. Is there a light? There's no light. Okay. Ooh, I looked in there. I literally thought that was just the real guy sitting there. Look at this. Back in the day, this is where prisoners used to live. I feel like these guys have just become animated and spring to life at any time. It's very creepy. Got an old bed back here. That's what they would probably sleep on. Just iron mesh. No pillow, nothing. Just, yeah, small wooden cell. Of course, just think back in the day, of course. No air conditioning, nothing. You can just imagine how scorching hot it will get here in summer. This is all closed up. You've only got that small mesh up there, and up there for ventilation. Just imagine how it will be like a sauna in here. Just imagine. Old jailhouse. No entry. Alright, what is in here? Just a storage room perhaps, or probably an old cell, but now it's nothing. Swipe card return. Please return cards when you have completed your tour. Well, I don't have cards. This is not even open, I'm sure. Someone must have forgot to close the gate. Alright. Jail kitchen. There's no cards. No. What's this? Self-guided tour. You're on holiday, so thanks. Old hospital located around the back. Swipe card. Hydropower plant. Old jail. Okay, I have no idea. We'll wander around to jail kitchen. Wood-fired stove, of course. Boil some water. Do your cooking. Put the wood in there. I was just going to say, out here, where would they find wood? But well, this town, it's in a way, it's surrounded by woodland. Please swipe card to. Is that a card? Is that a card? No. Oh, there's a card. Whoa. Okay, blinds coming down. I just found myself a card.
December 1864, in the first year of operation of the Queensland Police Force, there were 27 ordinary police stations, with 151 foot and mounted officers and 16 native police camps of 136 European officers and Indigenous troopers. 20 of the ordinary police force stations averaged 4 officers each. The bigger stations like Brisbane, Ipswich, Rockhampton and Maryborough had larger staff numbers. The records show that in October 1937, it was recommended that 3 cells have gauze placed over the grills. Otherwise, prisoners could hang themselves using blankets. Only 1 cell had gauze, and a police inspector reported that only 1 cell needed gauze, because the other 2 were used for storing saddles and as a storeroom. The cells had been built 50 years earlier, and many boards were decayed, and a general overhaul was needed. In 1941, Sergeant Stevens said there was no need for 4 cells, and that 1 or 2 cells would be enough for prisoners. He saw Ricketts coming around the corner with a .303 rifle. He said he ran away from Ricketts, who fired a shot that missed. Then Ricketts threw the rifle at him. Boatswain said he grabbed the weapon and loaded it from a pouch on his belt. Ricketts allegedly ran back to the camp and again came towards Boatswain, carrying a .22 rifle. Ricketts fired another shot, which again went astray, and Boatswain fired a shot over his head. Boatswain admitted that he'd fired a shot that hit Ricketts in the chest. He reloaded and fired a second shot into Ricketts' chest, and he fell to the ground. According to Boatswain, he shot Ricketts because when he called out to the woman, she didn't answer, and he thought that Ricketts had shot her and the boy. He claimed he didn't intend to kill Ricketts with the first shot, but did so when he fired the second and third shots, and drove some miles to a small sandhill where he buried them in a shallow grave. Returning to the camp, he loaded the property of the deceased onto the Land Rover and then drove about 5 miles to hide the vehicle and trailer in a swamp before walking back to the camp.
Got ourselves a key card so we can activate these things. I'll keep this on me because it did mention on there that you can go to the old hospital and dam with the card, so I'll keep it on me in case we need it, and then before I leave I'll just return the card here where I found it. I'm not sure if they're meant to be left around like this. There's one hanging right there, but hey, we got ourselves, it's maybe we're meant to see this, so yeah. Well, I want to unlock doors with this. Yes, probably. My goodness. Okay, let's have a look and see what it says here. Hello? Okay, this one doesn't work. Hello? No, this one doesn't work. Okay, well that's just where the prisoners are kept, clearly. I think the... Hang on, when I opened this door, another video started.
George never complained.
Okay,
He just got on with the job. And that's just how he was. I remember one time he had to retrieve a dead body in the car. I mean, imagine using the fact...
Continuing on the main street. We've got a house here. I can see they've got a Starlink out. I can definitely see why Starlink would be very popular out here. And yeah, just up here, police station. Thargomindah police station. This is the modern police station. Yep, lots of Starlink mounted on top. Really necessary out here. That's the only way you're going to get any form of connectivity with the outside world. Little flags call on the branch. Right, there's another video playing, but yeah, I kind of want to get a move on as well. I'm being conscious of time because I have a lot of driving to do. I didn't even know if you're meant to pay for that tour. Maybe you are, and I just somehow got in for free. Someone left it. Just on the other side of town at a truck stop. Heavy vehicle rest area only, no camping. Yeah, we're on the edge of Thargomindah. I saw the sign, Thargomindah hydropower plant display. This is the road that goes out of town. Remote area ahead. I don't think you need to tell anyone that. Yeah, it says remote area ahead. No food, no phone, no fuel. Always check road conditions before traveling. Remember, if it's flooded, forget it. Thargomindah. So yeah, continues on this way, Nokhandra, and then that goes to Cameron Corner, Tri-State Boundary, Eromanga, Quilpie, so on and so forth. I want to do this walk quickly, so I'm going to move on. It's rapidly warming up now. People certainly don't exaggerate when they talk about the massive diurnal range that you experience in the desert, the day-night temperature difference. So yeah, it really does warm up quickly as the sun comes up, but then once the sun goes down, it cools off very fast, especially this time of year. Thargomindah hydropower plant display walk, and I want to get this done now before the flies get any worse. We're walking just outside the edge of town, and you can see very quickly, once again, just turns into flat, sparse wilderness, shrubland. All right, we can either choose to go right to the old hospital or continue on straight to the hydroelectric power plant. You know me by now. I'm the type of person I like to see it all. I like to see everything. But no, today we're just going to see the hydroelectric plant. I don't need to see the hospital. Thargomindah cooling pond system. Like many towns in this region, Thargomindah unsurprisingly relies heavily on water from the Great Artesian Basin, so relies on artesian water. But of course, as you know from the hot springs, the water is it's hot. So yeah, they've got cooling ponds to cool the water before being pumped to local houses and businesses. A significant portion of the bore water also has a high salt content, so yeah, they use reverse osmosis in the treatment plant to, so pretty much like a process of desalination they've got to use to get the water treated and drinkable. Australia's first hydropower supplied to town for street lighting. Third after London, one day after Paris. And the flies are already getting quite... Hydropower plant display. Part of Thargomindah self-guided tour. Drop into Thargomindah Information Centre to purchase your swipe card. Well, yeah, okay. It's not my fault, someone just left it there. Being such a dry desert region, the river is not going to be in significant flow all that often. I mean, wouldn't be that uncommon for it to run dry, so I'm wondering, how is it possible then to make a hydropower plant? Well, it's because of the water underneath our feet in the Great Artesian Basin. It's old equipment that they use. And here, artesian water bubbling up to the surface again, being pumped up. See, now here you can see this entire thing here, the Great Artesian Basin. It's absolutely massive. It covers like almost a quarter of the continent. Great Artesian Basin, 1.7 million square kilometers, making it one of the largest single groundwater reserves in the world. Formed over 200 billion years ago when sediments forming sandstone were deposited on all the basement rocks. Those inland seas laid down more sediments and their weight caused depressions in the basin. 65 million years ago, sedimentation ended and erosion exposed sandstone along the western edge of the Great Dividing Range. Rainfall then soaked through the sandstone layers, resulting in groundwater reserves. The mound springs of the basin have always been a source of water for indigenous people and native animals during periods of drought. European pastoral enterprises and towns in southwestern Queensland, like Thargomindah, could not have progressed without the reliable supply of water from the basin. First bore was struck near Burke, New South Wales, 1878. By 1915, more than 1,500 flowing bores were supplying the continuous growing sheep and cattle industries of the region. Continuous demand has meant water pressure and flow have decreased dramatically. So yeah, that's the thing. A region like this, none of these towns would have been able to survive without the water that's underneath our feet from the Great Artesian Basin. Oh, that is warm. Yeah, that is very warm. You can see it just being pumped. An example of how they would little pools of artesian water or popping up from the ground. Alright, I did see a little keycard swipe thing, so I think we can be a bit cheeky and go in there. The average temperature of this water is 65 degrees Celsius and the average flow is 1,328,571 liters per day. So this wheel, the Pelton wheel, because of the pressure of water from the basin coming up to the surface, this wheel uses that pressure to spin and then provide electricity. As demand for electricity rises, a valve is opened to increase the speed of the water. When load decreases, water is cut. That is genius. Original Thargomindah water wheel was made locally, probably by a blacksmith, Joe Hood, to the design of Mr. Holmes. The engineer to the divisional board is said to have had a casing made from a ship's water tank. See all these complicated maths that goes into it. Pelton principle. You can return the card here, no worries, we don't have to even go back. Swipe card for entry, alright. Hey, we got in! Whoa! Security notice, CCTV cameras, yeah, okay. Can I... Please activate card to activate TV display. Lines going down. This is the Pelton wheel here. So, bubbles up from the surface and then this wheel spins, generating electricity. Very interesting. This is the Pelton wheel, guys. That's how the town generated electricity. Oh, they're locking me in. Okay. Volts. Lister petrol-driven motor used for lighting at Mulworth Outstation.
Thargomindah was the first town in Australia to produce hydroelectric power for street lighting, and only the third place in the entire world after London and Paris. Let's think about that for a moment. This tiny Queensland outback settlement at the forefront of a technological breakthrough that was to revolutionise the world. Cars, trains, buildings, every form of communication known to us, from TVs and computers, right down to the phone in your pocket, and even the video you're watching now. Nearly every single aspect of modern society relies upon the generation of electricity. A process that was pioneered right here at the Thargomindah hydropower plant. It all started in 1891. It came gushing out of the ground under great pressure and at a temperature of 84 degrees Celsius. But it was a local sawmill owner, Mr. Patterson, who saw its larger potential. On a trip to Brisbane, he bought a steam-operated electric generator, similar to the one you can see in operation here, and set about building the town's first electric lighting plant. A visionary move for the time, and one that soon attracted attention. By 1898, the Bulu Divisional Board had purchased Patterson's plant, and thanks to the designs of a Mr. Holmes and the industry of local boilermaker and blacksmith Joe Hood, by September that year, they also had a water wheel ready to hook up to the water bore and start generating.
Alright, that was very, very interesting. It does appear you have to purchase the key card from the Visitor Information Centre, which I gladly would have done. I gladly would have paid for this, but yeah, it's closed today. Everything's closed. It's a Sunday, and man, lucky me, I just happened to find this lying around. It looks like an oil well over there. I know there are a few parts of southwest Queensland where there are functioning oil wells where they did strike oil. That was an ingenious contraption, the wheel that Joe designed, and then later on it was updated to the Pelton wheel. That was an ingenious design. That was the main source of power that they had here for street lights. Then later on it was replaced by diesel generators, and yeah, now of course connected to the national grid. Renewable energy display. So you've got the windmills. Yeah, your standard bore pump powered by wind, of course. See them everywhere. And then over here we have a small oil well, or what used to be one. Okay. Today, bores continue to supply homes in Thargomindah with hot water. Visitors may be surprised to see that houses have cooling tanks for water. So yeah, you don't need a separate hot water system here. You actually need cooling tanks. Alright guys, the time has come to leave Thargomindah and start heading back east. This is as far west as we're going to go on this trip. So I thought I'd end off at the river. Again, I'm sure it's very rare to see it in such a state, this full. It wouldn't be that uncommon to see this river run dry, I'm sure. But yeah, Thargomindah, what a hidden gem. Outback oasis in the middle of, well, what appears to be nowhere, but it's certainly, well, it has its own charm, that is for sure. I mean, look, the flies alone would be a deal breaker for me ever wanting to live here, but it's got plenty of free camping spots. I saw a few caravans parked up here last night. Yeah, just in the entry into town, there's plenty of free camping spots, more than enough space for anyone really. I think we're at the end of winter still, so it definitely now would be the peak tourist season, I think, because but who the hell would want to come here in summer? I was talking to a guy, and yeah, he's like, yeah, only locals would come, there's only locals here in summer, no tourists. Of course, it gets way too hot. But yeah, what a hidden gem. I am going to start heading back. A part of me, honestly, a part of me would love to just keep heading west all the way to Cameron's Corner. Well, okay, that's a bit out of the question. I'm not ready for like a full off-roading experience yet, but I definitely want to do Cameron's Corner eventually. Part of me wants to continue on as far west as the paved roads can go, perhaps to Inaminka, South Australia. But no, we're going to leave that for another time. I'm going to have to start heading east to my next destination. There's a few other places I want to see on the way back. We are going to go home via New South Wales, but from Thargomindah there are no paved roads to New South Wales, so I'm going to have to drive back 2 hours to Cunnamulla, and then from Cunnamulla continue on what the original route was to my next destination, which I'm not going to spoil, but it is sure to be a treat. A pretty well known place actually. A lot of people I think have heard of. And once I arrive in the town, I think you guys will know exactly what I am there to see. I'm just going to drive to Cunnamulla, go through the town, and start heading to our next destination. So I'll probably see you sometime there. But for now, Thargomindah surprisingly has more than enough content for one video. So this is where I shall end this one off, outside Thargomindah. Get away from these flies. That's actually one key factor that makes me also want to start heading back east. The flies. Let's get back to somewhere a bit more temperate. Onwards and upwards.